Ladies and gentlemen of the crypto space, we're live on a Wednesday, May 15th at 11:47 a.m. Snags and snafus, a little delayed, but all in all, we got a little bit of a story to tell, as always. Nice imagery this morning, nice sentiment. I think maybe rather than the description on YouTube, the X post best highlights what I'm thinking. Methodology, the procedures for engaging with the market. Own it, refine it. It's yours to perfect. So I come at crypto markets, of all markets, thinking like a professional, an artist, someone who wants to perfect their craft. You must take this seriously. This is probably the most important thing you do in your life. This is more important than even work and your skill set. Clearly you have to refine your skill set such that you can have decent work, but the entire output, the product of work, is capital. Therefore, the only logical observation is that you must perfect your capacity to manage capital. Otherwise, you're shooting in the dark, riding blind. You have no strategy. And when I say manage capital, we're talking about life here. We're talking about your future, management of capital for family and yourself. Like, where are you heading? Where are you going? What is the plan of action? You need a plan of action. You need a methodology to guide that plan of action such that it can be consistently executed, rigorously executed, so you can actually achieve your goals. I sound like a retirement advisor or some shit. Or I sound like, what is it? What the hell's the office called at college? It's when you graduate and the career office. What do you want to do? That's a fascinating question. I remember going into the career office when I graduated, and they were like, I just went to school for electrical engineering, and I graduated, and I'm like, they're like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I want to fucking make money. What the fuck are you asking me what I want to do? I just spent my last years going to school, and I'm like, now I want to make some damn money. So this is the conversation that's imperative for the youth. Or, I mean, it's hard to talk to I talked to my cousin who's 16, and he's got not a fucking clue how to respond to me. I'm like, dude, you should be thinking about assets and capital management. He's like, nah, man, I'm going out. So anyway, this is a very important topic, whether you realize it young or not. The younger you realize it, the more time you have. And everything we've discussed is that time is what does the work. Or at least that's the optimal configuration. You want to place yourself in a situation where time is doing the work. And that is the art of the passive portfolio, where you're not actively engaging with markets or actively performing work, but rather passively placing yourself in a position where you made the right choices and now you're able to receive capital. Receive receipts, most specifically. And these receipts are literally the same exact thing as the product of physical work, active work, and labor. So, take this shit seriously. This is some professional stuff you guys do. You might be playing around with some meme coins or doing whatever the hell you think you're doing, but that's the start. You should realize that's the start. That's just the beginning. There's so much more that can be done, and you shouldn't stop. And it was so many folks, I hear like Coinfessions and other social media posts, and they're trading and doing whatever they're doing and posting P&Ls, and maybe folks have lost money. I'm like, this is such a shallow, short-sighted way of engaging, not just with the market, with one's own potential to manage capital in a structured, coordinated, in a way, with treating it like a craft. Hey, pick a craft. What's your craft? Maybe archery or billiards, or you're a skateboarder. Do you suck at it? Or is it something you do frequently and you really want to be really good at it? I mean, it comes back to maybe like parenting methodology, and maybe a lot of what I talk about is so emotional to me because I think as a parent, like whatever my kids end up doing, I want them to be really good at it. They should treat it with respect and honor to be the best that they possibly can be. That's kind of what I do with everything in my life. Everything I've ever done, I've tried to be the best I could potentially be. And now that's what I do with capital management. Be the best you could possibly be. Now, how do you know that you could do better? If you have anxiety or frustrations, you must identify what is causing you to have anxiety and frustrations and cure it. You're doing something that you could do better. And we could digress into like what's an inspection of a portfolio, because obviously net worth is a topic I've talked about on X and social media, and that might be the wrong inspection of success. And that's why I often talk about income and managing capital relative, or measuring at least relative to what you do at work. Isn't that a measurement of success as well? Is net worth the most appropriate or most reasonable or most sustainable measure of success? So these are obviously things for you to define. Some people they're rightfully capable of saying my net worth is my measurement of success. And I would say for myself, I don't give a shit about my net worth. I care about how much capital I have on a Friday because I know that I work and I've worked my entire life and I get a certain amount of capital on Friday, traditionally as a paycheck. Now, obviously, an interesting goal is saying, all right, if I make X amount of money in a week, if I can make 10% of that in a week, oh, I'm going to try really damn hard to get to 20%, 50%. Measurement of success, if you get to 100% of what you traditionally made in a salary a week, managing your own capital, that's not just success, that's a triumph. Now, your net worth, who gives a shit? The receipts, the income, that's everything. Now, I obviously speak for myself. That's what I want, and that's how I measure success. Now, obviously, what did I write? It's procedures for engaging with the market. Own it, refine it. It's yours to perfect. Now, obviously, you're listening to me, so maybe these types of thoughts resonate with you, or the way I manage capital resonates with you. Seems like a decent target, a decent goal, something that's sustainable. But it's yours to refine. It's yours to perfect if you want to play capital gains and make as much money as possible. By all means, become a technical analysis expert and have at it. But get good at it. Be the best you can possibly be. And don't fuck this up. This is an interesting segue, maybe. How do you fuck it up? How do you mess up? By deviating from your methodology. If you stick to your methodology, your measurement of success can potentially be inspected merely by adhering to your methodology. And that's, I guess there's many things in life, like it's like religion, maybe, like how your consistency with going to your place of worship. And that's your measurement of success. And so that's the same thing here. Sticking to your methodology for how you engage with the market is ultimately a sustainable way to engage with the market, a sustainable way of assessing success, and it's not numerical. So the numerics of it, your income on a weekly basis, or your capital gains, your returns from active market participation, you're able to make measurements because of that consistency. and it's indirectly related to your execution of your process. So you're able to say, I am executing well according to my process because I see these kinds of weekly returns, or I see these kinds of capital gains. And it's a byproduct of how well you execute according to your rules. Now, Aerozon, and we talk, and most recently, we probably didn't buy as cheap as we could have. We were too click happy. We could have waited. The implications of waiting are that you might not get the price you're waiting for. What is the rational way to assess that reality? Okay, shit happens. There's something else. If you don't get the price that you want, which really is need in order to be successful with your methodology, okay, you didn't get the price. Why the fuck am I going to overpay for some shit that I want? Either I get the price I want, or I'm not buying it. And the better that I do that, the better I will meet my expectations for adhering to my methodology for engaging with markets. It just so happens that particular methodology is very consistent with Warren Buffett. Buy distressed assets. That's a topic we've discussed on stream. I think that's a very sustainable methodology. It's worked throughout history for many very successful persons. Prudent. Take your time. Patience. You'll live longer. Quell that anxiety. Be calm. And then you'll find your peace. That's the most important thing, is to find your peace. I tell my daughters, less than 10, find your peace. I used to tell my grandma at 99, find your peace. That's everything. So I admire like monks and shit and folks that have a capacity to meditate. I don't necessarily have that capacity. But at least I appreciate it. And the better you find your peace, your comfort zone, the better you will be able to execute your procedures that you have defined. And it's okay not to have your procedures now. Start. Write them down if you need to. Hope that helps, ladies and gentlemen. Let's pop over on the Bitcoin chart because we are cruising altitude $64,800. You're never going to be able to, the vast majority is never going to be able to navigate, let alone a stable stock market. It's completely volatile at this point, let alone the crypto space. You're never going to be able to navigate it. Oh, well, do I have to buy it? I have to sell it before it stops going up. I got to sell the top. Oh, damn it. If I sell it too early, I'm not going to maximize my returns. Oh, you're never going to be able to navigate it. The minority does. The minority has enough capital to push around markets. The minority is able to take on large positions and affect the market. You are not the minority. You are the majority. Now, the minority, it's good for them. There's an odds, there's a chance that he could be the minority. There's an odds that he could win the frickin' lottery. The odds are significantly more in your favor if you engage like the majority, like and accepting that the odds are not in your favor. So you need an alternative methodology. You're not. So what's the point of this thought? The majority cannot buy. What was it, 57? We got down to 57 maybe in the past month. Yeah, 55. Bottom tick, 56 and check, whatever. Less than 60. And now we're at 64.7. It's all over 50, 57. If it goes down below a certain level, it's going to go right to 53. Then it's just going to be down to 50 and 48 and 47, and we'll find ourselves on time-weighted average price support on the 3-month at 37. Oh, I'm going to buy it back at 37. I got to get out now because then I can buy more when it goes down in price. Ah, shit, now it's up at $64,000. and you don't have any. That does not sound like a methodology that I would want to ever touch with a 10-foot pole anymore. Well aware of our history with these markets, and I've talked with you for all these years on stream as we've done what we've done and how we tell the story of how we've gotten to where we are. And that is not some shit that I want to do. I got to sell it now so I can buy it back at a cheaper price. It's not sustainable methodology. That's why I've honed in and refined the methodology that we discuss to the point where it's just finely crafted and it's cruising. It's cruise control, baby. It's cruise control. Just for some numbers, I think we deployed 65 grand between Ramses, Nile on Linnea, and Cleopatra on Mantle. Tell you guys some numbers, a couple of numbers. Ramses went up to 200 and change thousand. Ramses back down maybe at like 30 and change, 35, 38, something like that. I mean, you can see the chart right here. Wild retrace. Between entry price at 1.8 and current price, it's producing the same amount on the weekly, a couple $100. Nile's producing a couple $100. Clio, disappointing. It's the principal depreciation, but then again, who gives a shit about principal depreciation? It's producing a couple $100. So this past week, it's about $1,100 thus far in cash flow from transaction fees, plus whatever was up front. So there was some upfront, from float rentals. $1,100. 1,000-foot view. Lock positions. 65,000 deployed. $1,100 a week. Do you folks realize how insane that is? 80% APR on average? That's crazy. So to me, relative to traditional equities, traditional investments, real estate, that's crazy. Do I care that I didn't turn 20 grand into 200? No, because it's what I just described with Bitcoin, looking at the Bitcoin chart. Oh, I got to sell the top. What if it's not the top? What if it goes down? I could buy back cheaper at a lower price. Oh, damn it, it's starting to go up, and I don't own any. You get caught off sides. That requires work. That requires active mental attention and work to engage with a market like that. So I went ahead and turned this insanely volatile space into something that makes sense, discussing these businesses as what they are. I was talking about that last night on X. We could find it. It's right here. Anyone else actually see these businesses for what they are? I prefer banking, private credit facilities, issuing dollar liabilities globally, biggest business on the planet. Forex markets, also interesting. Great business cash flow comes from FX markets where all liquidity providers themselves pay a fee to the house, not just to the makers and takers of the LPs. That's not really VE33 with the fully bifurcated incentive system. That's certainly VE. That's certainly like a uni or just a standard LP position to a degree. It's fascinating looking at the wild, wild west with all these kids running around trying to make as much money as possible, looking at the space as a grown-ass adult hitting 80% APR, and great, it gets diluted 60%. Great, it gets diluted 20%. 20% on basis. So that's extraordinary. By any measure. All that volatility. Up 10x, down 10x. The kids on Arrow must be driving themselves nuts. $2.40. You bought it $2.40 and you could have bought it at 80 cents. And that's what we talk about, Arrow. Either you get your discount or you didn't. Listen, a lot of people were critical to me on social media when they were saying, I bought at 4 cents. Great, good, you did good. That's when you were supposed to buy, when nobody was looking. Now that everyone's looking, now's the great time to buy at $1.80, $2.40. Is this a support level? 382 looks pretty good. 466 mil market cap. All right, XYZ. What's the potential? I guess the only reduction in this perspective is what's the potential to be able to buy at a cheaper price. So there, you can't look to Coinbase, you can't look to Base, you can't even look on chain to DeFi Llama. There, you need to look at macroeconomics. This is actually quite a nice level. It presents very nicely from a technical perspective, Fib Reap Chase. Do you need it? What's the APR? 30, 40, 50%? What other things are providing 30, 40, 50%? Do you think that that 30, 40, 50% will go up? Because surely, with a locked position, your fair market value doesn't mean anything. It's locked. So it's irrelevant. So I define in my business rules, actual notarized documentation, that fair market value is zero. Cannot be sold. So account for it that way as well in the books. And that gets quite interesting. Isn't that simplify the equation, a purchase rather than a position? When you're going to buy something that you can't sell, no refunds, no backsies. Probably going to be a little bit more patient. Extend a little bit more due diligence. Probably see if you can get the best price possible. OpenX swap. Maybe you get some discounted NFTs. That's pretty cool. 58 cents on the dollar. Anyone have $286,000 lying around? 58 cents on $1.05. It's like what, 58, 60 cents? No, that's more. It's like 60 cents. I think it's too much. Not cheap enough. 236 fib. You either get blood in the streets, you either get a discount of a distressed asset where nobody believes in it anymore, or whatever. You're not missing anything. APR is APR, and there's plenty of it everywhere. You think Base is going to be the only chain. If Base succeeds, optimism succeeds. And the optimistic super chain succeeds. And if optimism succeeds, Arbitrum succeeds. And Arbitrum orbits succeed. And then, was it Conduit that's doing the meta chains where you can literally do shit on Optimism and Arbitrum and make your own meta chain with any defined gas token you want? Then it all just becomes this giant synergy. The capital's just flowing everywhere. And then the super chain, you got Velodrome going everywhere on the super chain. You got the kingdom wanting to expand across everywhere. Very interesting. Don't let yourself go nutty. Stay calm. Play by your rules and you will survive. Robert H., good morning. Santiago, good morning. Cap, Jonathan, good morning. Arrow, my man, good morning, y'all. Shout out to Wilson, the volleyball. Right? He's a good guy, Wilson. He's a good guy. Fugu, nice to catch. A live stream. Greetings, Noah. CryptoTube in the house. Bill, happy Wednesday, Cap. What emerging narratives do you see coming in the next 1 to 2 years, knowing we're a big proponent of cross-chain interop? Crypto-centric narrative? Yeah, obviously, what ChatGPT is working on, frankly, Google, they're all working on it, is the agents and a capacity for LLMs AI agents to talk to one another. So that means they're literally going to be just constructive. I just get tantalized because I know the questions that I ask. I think of recursion. I know the questions I ask to AI and to the research that I do, but now you could literally say, hey, two agents work back and forth with one another until you produce at minimum this threshold of output, like writing a document. Yeah, write the document, and then Agent B criticizes that, and they work back and forth. It's a way to achieve recursion with AI. Holy shit! Frankly, what does that mean? So I've spent hundreds of hours working on legal documents on ChatGPT and various AI platforms. Now I could literally let the AI agents, and you can have many of them with different instructions, automatically do that work. Holy crap, this is the automation of AI. AI is still manual when you have to talk to it, but you could just provide instructions to AI agents to guide core AI activities. Holy crap. Really is insane when I think about it. And that's literally enhancing. So my capacity to be productive is already enhanced by AI, and now I have a capacity to automate that AI productivity. Holy crap. That's crazy. That's compound, exponential, whatever the hell you want to call it. So, big narrative is financing or allowing these AIs to pay one another. That gets quite interesting. You certainly need an Arbitrum or an Optimism to do that. Who knows? It could be on any of the other Alt-L ones, but mainnet has its mainnet finality. That's a big deal. It has the greatest expression of security other than Bitcoin. And obviously, you'll have everyone criticizing the shit out of mainnet, but whatever. It's the best expression of an immutable data store. That's why mainnet is part of like DA, is considered DA, along with like whatever the hell you want to do on Celestia or Fractal. It's the mainnet, DA. You want your data to have the most reduced risk, the greatest expression of comfort for consumers. You use DA on mainnet, which carries a premium. People pay premiums all the time. You get something for your money. That's basically what it means. What are you buying for your money? And if you want mainnet comfort, you got to pay for it. And that's why, very simply, mainnet has the volume it has. Now, obviously, gas fees are absolutely collapsed right about now, but you're talking about mainnet 4.5, 1.2. So a good portion of all financial activity occurs on mainnet. They're paying dollars, dollars, not a penny. Optimism is basically free. Arbitrum is basically free. Everything. Everything other than mainnet's basically free. Even Avalanche is 50 cents a transaction. So why are people paying dollars and often 20, 30, 40, $50 literally to click a button? Think about it. And don't complain that, oh, mainnet's so expensive. It's priced out the whole population. Yeah, you pay for a premium. You pay for what you get. Hope that helps. Anyway, I digress. Next 1 to 2 years. I don't know. I still think finance is the biggest thing. And like what Paul Ryan was talking about, that's a big deal. It's just literally it's where we are. There's nothing significantly new that needs to change in the next couple of years, particularly for me, who's on the edge of tech and understanding really what's coming. I still think everything that I've exposed to, particularly FX and credit facilities and dollar liabilities that we talk about, I think that is the next few years. Just as this post suggests that Congress is like, how the hell are we going to fund U.S. government? Oh, okay, stablecoins buy U.S. debt to create dollars. Oh, the $0 that we've been talking about for years. And literally, Congress is talking about it. Ain't that some shit? Looks like we were early to that narrative. This is the next couple of years, is the big thing over the next couple of years. Bigger than, I mean, not bigger than DeepIn or AI and whatnot, but maybe. Because finance is still finance, and dollars are the biggest business in the world. Food for thought. So I don't think you need to go out and really search for what's next. We already know what's next. You know why we know what's next? The microscopic size of these crypto markets. A whopping $160 billion in these crypto markets. Particularly, you could neglect the other chains. Mainnet is the core. 80 bill. Zero. It's zero. It's zero in the grand scheme of things. This is what's next. Literally the same stuff you've done for the last 2 years. Why? Because nothing happens in 2 years. Short time frames. LTFs. Got to pump those numbers up there. Rookie numbers. You got to get to those HTFs. Stop driving yourself nuts. Positions you took in 2022. All right. 2024, 2025. You get to see how well your foresight was. Time and patience. Immutability helps with that. Deterministic locks helps with that. You know, what's so weird about the Bitcoin community, the maximalist community, you know, locking, the concept of locking is very low. As old school Bitcoin, like Satoshi Bitcoin, has a lock feature where you set a time, timestamp, Unix and whatnot, but you set a timestamp, and if you before that timestamp, you don't have access to your Bitcoin. I don't remember the nuances. I haven't looked at it, but you're locking maybe a UTXO, which is what makes sense for a UTXO, the base crypto protocol. Why isn't that talked about more? That is crazy. I think that's the biggest innovation in finance, the capacity to deterministically and immutably lock something. That's crazy. That's what doesn't exist in traditional finance. Now, clearly, I don't know. I don't know why people don't talk about that. That's crazy. And there's literally no protocols that offer it. There's nothing that offers it. They deterministically lock your damn Bitcoin. And now at this point, diminishing returns, I don't know. I mean, I think it evolves into what we discuss or how we discuss and compartmentalize the significance of Bitcoin. Anyhow, hope that helps. Greetings, Captain. Snoke in the house. Sergio present. Bill Clinton. When do you see the market maturing enough where projects providing real yield through cash flow see their time in the sun? That's right now. So I made a certain amount of capital revenue in 21, into 22, 23, and now run rate 24. It's been the same. And I've had to compensate because reinvestment purposes, and that's literally per the business structure that I have, I'm obligated to reinvest. It's literally in my operating manual. And with those reinvestments, rate of return year over year has been basically constant. The time in the sun is now. The biggest misconception of crypto market participants is that there's like a bear market and a bull market, and time to get out and time to get in. And what I saw was imperative to position yourself to pass through and just align and attach yourself to the market. You got to reprogram yourself away from prevailing conversation. Define a different story, chart a different path. I don't give a shit about bear market and bull market. What I care about is discounts and cash flow and deterministic locks that align extremely well with regulator codes and operating procedures for established entities, established organizations, businesses. And those are the things that I've considered the most over the last couple of years. Not what's my portfolio net worth? Cash flow, baby. That's it. Then chart your cash flow up and down. If your cash flow's going down, reinvest. If cash flow is going up, save. And then wait for discounts and distressed assets. And that's literally what Warren Buffett historically does at the core of his business operations, other than what Charlie Munger encouraged him to do more recently, not the beginning. Raul, much a pleasure. Crypto Jake, good morning. Cap, anyone on X or Twitter, if you have any questions, get your commentary of any kind into the stream. More than happy to answer anything on your mind. Cap, why do you think no one has made a liquid wrapper for Era yet? I don't know. It is what it is. Products will product. The market will market. And protocols will be opportunistic. Developers will be opportunistic. Oh, it's coming. Why wouldn't it come? Isn't it inevitable? Probably because there's not much activity on Base. There's a shitload of stablecoins on Base. Shitload of dollars. But the vast majority of activity, other than Era, was literally meme coins, which evaporated into a puff of smoke. Other than the few. And that's okay. That's probably why there hasn't been much development on Base. I mean, clearly, Base is an EVM chain, so it could be just ported from somewhere else. So the fact that there isn't a wrapper implies no one was really that excited to port a wrapper because Base was a lot of hot air, a lot of hype, a lot of inflated TVL that just collapsed. And that's nothing, no better representation of a collapse of TVL than 230 to a buck. It's like 800, 900 mil market cap to 471. Capital destruction. All that value was completely destroyed. Direct hit to TVL. Chart looks actually quite constructive. Nice to see this leg up. Clearly to regain bullish directionality, you got to break to the higher high. Nice hit to the 0.618 and a retest back down to a buck of 30. And now you're getting some bullish price action structure in the chart. It's irrelevant. I like looking at it because it's important to know what the market is doing, how the market is marketing. We're not going to pay these prices, and that's okay. I don't need to. So find a way for yourself to answer that question also. Do you need to? You don't. Why pay a premium? Why do that to yourself? Why stoop to that level of chasing something that everyone else is excited about? Oh, everyone else. Gives a shit what everyone else is thinking. All that matters is what you're thinking. This is a game against yourself. Has nothing to do with what anyone else is thinking. Define your procedures and judge how well you've done based on how well you follow your procedures. Hope that helps. At what point would you say RAM is at a discount price for a look? And listen, so bear in mind, you guys asked me these questions with regard to price and levels, and that's cool. I'll answer anything. There's no reason for me not to engage in such conversation. Your goal to become a practitioner, really take it to the next level with your capital management for yourself and your family. This is some serious shit. You should want to be able to answer those questions. So that is a goal. It's important. Please, no one in the future ever hesitate to ask me these things. That's okay. But this is an absolute responsibility. This is an item on your list to understand how to answer that question. You got homework now, bro. So what's the discount? Full retrace? $1.80. Simple as that. What's a sexy zone? Probably between here and $1.80. Look at the level. it's getting interesting. It's an interesting price. It already passed 0.236 on the retrace. So go like this. I mean, look where we are. Look at that level. Coincides with levels back there. It's a very interesting zone right there. But bear in mind, it's a big zone. Clearly, if it's about discount. Now, interestingly, the NFTs are often sold at a discount because people are just literally desperate to evacuate a position that they don't understand. And that's just giving opportunity to other people, which is remarkable. It means we're early in the market. We'll be much later in the market when people are selling those NFTs at like 95 cents on the dollar instead of 70 and 60 cents on the dollar. Cheaper the better. It's as simple as that. It's not about, it's not going to go down any further and I need to get into a position. That's not the mindset. The mindset is it cheap enough that I could justify spending hard-earned capital to have exposure? There's always something else to consider. Don't sell yourself short. Either you get the price that you need or you don't, and you're priced out. And a lot of people would say, oh, you get on board. It's still cheap to get on board, and that's some like little kid shit right there. No. It's okay to not buy something you want to own. Grow the fuck up. Anyway, that's not answering you quantified with that last statement of grow the fuck up. But I'm just saying, my point is, become a practitioner. And then you and you alone can judge how well you did only in hindsight. And I was talking to Arrow about this. Judge on the monthly, judge on the weekly. What's your weekly? If you make an 80% APR annualized on the weekly, oh shit. That's cool. Now, if you pull that in at the end of the year and year-end review, man, that's ridiculous. That's crazy. Like 65K deploy, making 52 a year. Put this shit into perspective. That's the average salary of human beings giving 40 hours a week of their life to someone else, working for someone else. When you work for someone else, that person doesn't need to work for themselves. They have someone else working for them. That's another topic. Really, if you dig into the semantics that I just stated, isn't that what you want for yourself? You want someone else to work for you so you don't have to work. And that's technically what we're doing if you dig into the mechanics of it. When you're getting an APR, it's because of productivity somewhere. So you can identify that, and that is literally people making financial decisions and FX market and speculation, but probably, hopefully, at some point, business activity. So they're working, and we have other people working for us. Their productivity is what generates our revenues. Anywho, I hope that point was somewhat clear. Can you please talk a bit about Frax's BAM and how exactly does that work? I don't know. I guess it's all about iteration on what an AMM is. Listen, everything that Frax has done is extraordinary. Frax falls squarely into the category of the greatest tech is not the greatest investment. Am I content or discontent with the position? I'm quite content. Frax has never gone below my purchase price. That's cool. I guess I got it at a discount. Do I wish it was more performant? Sure. For a minute, it was like 13, 14% APR at the FXS level. But it is what it is. Lock position, fortunately, is not a position. It is a purchase. So now I own it. And now I get to see what my shit does in 10 years. I own it. It's not a position. My VEFXS has Zero fair market value. X amount of dollars were used to purchase it, and now it is worth zero. It cannot be sold. It has no fair market value. Food for thought when you look at that uh, total net worth in DBank. What does it mean that these things say it has worth 100 grand, but you can't sell it? No, bro, that shit is not worth 100 grand. It's worth zero. Zero. And that should help you really understand what the hell we're doing. The con, can you look at Fala and Demo? Those are DePIN projects. What do you think about DePIN? No interest in investing. Investments reduced to XYZ. The biggest business in the world is dollars. The biggest business is stable coins, which are dollar liabilities. Second biggest business is like Forex markets, but really banking and lending and dollar printing. Dollar creation process is the biggest business. Forex markets are big. Trillions upon trillions go through those markets on a daily basis. But the biggest business is dollars, because 99.9% of every dollar in existence has an interest rate associated with it. So DePIN's cool. Big tech. It changes a lot. Being able to execute Python or Cartesi type stuff with a Linux VM, so you can literally run software and code and then produce an outcome that's stored, metadata stored on a DA layer. Holy shit! And they'll run all that from an AI agent or 5 AI agents going back and forth. Holy crap! That's crazy tech. Greatest tech is not necessarily the greatest investment. I got no interest in investing in that stuff. I need bigger. Look at that. Everyone just expects the AMMs and the liquidity to be there. Oh, their favorite DePIN protocol has a token. What's the liquidity depth? What's the slippage? Can you get a size that you want, or is it not even available? Everyone skipped over all the shit in 2020 and 2021 and showed lindiness and resiliency in 2022. You think that's the end of it? That's just the beginning. Everything that people take for granted in these crypto markets is just the beginning. So as much as I would like to look into those protocols, there's bigger protocols. And frankly, that's literally the stuff that we just take for granted, like Curve. Oh my God, and Frax. Taken for granted completely. Albeit, greatest tech isn't the greatest investment, but then again, X, Y, and Z that runs everything in my opinion. Because I don't give a shit about total net worth at all. Thoughts on AFCVX sterilizer? Yet another sterilizer. Listen, this global currency cycle is going to kick off. And have you seen the amount of CVX that has been disrupted, sterilized, recycled, whatever term you want to use? What kind of circulating supply liquidity there is? Look at the lock rate. You got to look at the lock rate on stuff in the kingdom and Velodrome and Curve and Convex. The lock rate. There has been a disruption of available supply. Disruption of available supply meets the global currency cycle. This shit's going to get weird, bro. It's going to get really weird. If you want to own a piece of Convex and compete with the big boys, which is like 3 of them, was it like Frax, Pyrex, and Cleaver? If you want to buy the amount to compete from a voting perspective with what they have, what if 10 want to do that, or 100 businesses want to have that kind of power? So it seems like the stuff that people have gotten complacent with and have found boring might actually be the most extraordinary opportunity heading into the next year and a half. It's not so boring when you actually need it to bootstrap your business. Stuff that Tetranode talked about like 2 years ago at this point is like, how much capital does a startup need to have to establish effective liquidity on chain vis-a-vis convex and curve rentals? Well, there you go. Now you have your capital raised for your startup. You need to account for the amount of capital you need to establish effective liquidity. Otherwise, it's a disaster for a brand new protocol. That's how you collapse the price of a protocol, selling into illiquidity. Anyway, I hope that helps. I know you're a fan of Raoul Pal. He's extremely bullish of Solana, more so than ETH, but it seems that the majority of liquidity and DeFi innovations is on ETH and L2s. Is he missing something? No. So here's the thing. Raoul, wealth is very important, and you have to think from their mindset. He doesn't need to. He doesn't need to do the things that we do, that I do. He doesn't need to. The amount of capital, once you get past thresholds, different behaviors, different opportunities unlock to engage with markets a different way. Hey, listen, if you got 100 mil and you put in 5 mil into Solana at $8 and turns into 50 mil, cash flow doesn't mean shit, bro. Because you got 50 mil. So different thresholds mean different things. So this is probably best described in the way I discuss portfolio size. The smaller portfolio is quite restrained in the activity it can engage in. Now bear in mind, it's discretion. They can very much engage with the markets as I do with regard to cash flow. It's a choice. More money, more choices. So bear in mind, the way I engage with markets is quite sophisticated. Yeah, it may seem simple to just lock and claim, but look at all the stories we tell, the richness and depth of this entire perspective that I offer. This shit is not simple. Some complicated stuff. What is money? What are dollars? What is all of this? What are these FX markets I talk about? How are stablecoins are dollars? They're actual dollars? Dollars are liabilities. It's all the same thing. So he's missing nothing. He's coming from the vantage point of literally not needing to consider the complex topics that I discuss. And that's okay. And then he's absolutely correct with regard to don't fuck this up. Meaning you don't need to engage with the markets the way I do or the way he does. All you need to do is just own some shit. Because when things go to the banana zone, everything just goes absolutely parabolic. Now, the conversation to be had as things are going parabolic is, how are you going to manage that? What are you going to do? What are your choices and options? And I would argue I have no interest in trying to find tops and bottoms. It drives me nuts. I just want the cash flow. Now, someone else might come back and say I'm an idiot for not taking 200 grand that turned into 20 mil and not taking the 20 mil. And I would come back and say, okay, that's a valid response. And I would say I made 2 mil for the year in cash flow. That's okay that the 20 mil turned back into 200 grand turns to 20 mil, turns into 2 mil. Okay, I mean, listen, all of that sounds really good. Could have capitalized 20 mil on 200K, watched 200K turn to 20 mil back into 2 mil, lost 18 mil, capitalized 2 mil. That sounds pretty good. See, the subjectivity comes in because all of that sounds pretty good. And all of that is kind of sort of what's coming with regard to the banana zone. This is that weird shit that I'm talking about. If they want to keep the wheels on the fucking car, shit is going to get weird. Weird is 100K turning into a couple mil. That's weird. Things getting really weird and making some good decisions along the way is 100K turning into 10 mil. Which implies proportionally a mil, 2 mil turning into 100 mil. It's just proportions right there. 100x on the money on the portfolio is not out of this world in crypto markets. and then a crash. Oh, the horror of 100x on the portfolio turning into 10x on the portfolio. Oh, so the horror of a mil portfolio turns into 10 mil, from 100 mil to 10 mil. You made 10x on the money. Oh my God. Sounds a little greedy. Oh, I didn't capitalize on the 100. I only got 10. Oh my God. So it's going to be very subjective. You're going to get a lot of criticism as this banana zone comes online. Don't dismiss the criticism. Be cognizant of it. But in the end, you got to chart your own path. You got to be your own captain. Got to define your own rules, and you'll be able to tell this story from hindsight, hopefully at a dinner table, and have it not sound shitty. I bought some Doge and Obama Sonic Inu 5, and because that sounds stupid, bro. Or you could have a conversation about money and what dollars are and what are banks and how is money made. That's meaningful to me. So for me, the story is so much more important than having as much money as possible. LFG, baby. We the crypto people. LFG. Arrow, a friend of mine, wants to dip his toes. Don't make me break out the dip toe meme. Into crypto. Buy and sell is his style. What to tell him besides BTC, Ethereum, Solana? That's about it. Better understand technical analysis. Watch RT from Hero Labs. You know RT. Got to know the Pump Chaser zone, which is pretty much my sexy zone, which is pretty much a discount, which is pretty much a fib retrace. Better understand maybe at least the basics of Elliott Wave. Understand at least like ascending triangles, ascending wedges and triangles and level inspection. You got to know some of that stuff. Or you could be the novice and just DCA. DCA, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana. Why not? Frankly, it's subjective whether Bitcoin, Ethereum, or Solana. But bear in mind, if you're a small actor, I always tell you guys, got to respect the FX market. There's a time when Bitcoin is converted to cash. Now, depending on your size, as I was telling John, portfolio size, if it's enough cash, it doesn't matter. Just hold Bitcoin. You own Bitcoin. You own Bitcoin because you want to own Bitcoin, not because of its value. And then you just opportunistically are able to consume it on a debit card when it's worth a fair amount rather than where it's down 40, 50, 60%, or whatever future cycles offer us. Respect FX markets. The most important thing, Dan, is that it's an evolving process. The most important thing is that you get better and better and richer and have a deeper conversation, not just with other people, but with yourself about why you're doing what you're doing and how you're doing it. Learn from your mistakes. This is kind of the suggestion to your friend. You got to learn and grow and evolve and refine the strategy to get better over time. Just like any parent would want for their children. Why, don't sell yourself short. You can do better. I literally say that phrase way too much. Bow tie in space. Captain has 150 crew in here. Wow, 186 people on the stream right now. I appreciate each and every one of you. We have fun nowadays. Our conversations nowadays are a little bit better than they used to be a couple years back. And guess what? That's exactly what I'm talking about right now. Got to get better over time, refine your craft, and it serves everyone else well, and it serves yourself well. You do yourself justice by becoming a professional. Yeah, adding Twitter is a great move. Yeah, more exposure. I wish more folks on X would comment and engage. I'm here to help because helping you helps me. You get it? By me helping you, I'm helping myself because you give me ideas and thoughts about what you're thinking about, and therefore I'm able to contemplate that reality. And that makes everything I do that much better. Thanks for sticking with us, Cap. Yeah, my goodness, look at where we are. We're in May of 2024. Different world back in 2020. Very different world back in 16 and 17, back in the 2010s. My goodness. It's going to be very interesting having this conversation when I'm 60. Wow. I'm excited. This is going to be a very interesting life. I appreciate all of you sticking with me as well over the years. I expect our conversations to get better and better over the years. And just take it day by day. And whatever you do, zoom out and inspect the weekly, monthly, the yearly, and don't drive yourself nuts on the daily crypto jake when I'm 60. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. 185 people made it to the end of the stream. As I said, I appreciate each and every one of you. Tell everyone to subscribe because we can do a little bit better together. It's a Wednesday. I will see you again on Friday. Y'all have a good one now. Stay rational. Peace.